All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of our breakdown series. Here we go. We looked at the pre-production process for this commercial last time. Now we're on set. We've made it there. We got everything that we asked for. We got the location, right, which was the most important thing for the look. We've got the time of day. We know that we're not going to be able to hold sunrise the entire day, but maybe slightly later morning, that we'll be able to do. Okay, now we have to get there on the day and actually pull it off. How are we going to do it? This is the shooting order. We're also going to go over the lighting. Main thing here for this first up shot is that we can't have any sun on the road. Any sun on the road is going to make this way more, is going to lift the ambient much, much higher. And it's going to get rid of our long, like any of the shadows that we do have. We want them really long and raky. And it doesn't make sense for the story point to have this be too late in the day. Now, this is like out of the camera. What you can do with the grade is you can pull this way down, right? The only thing that's going to give it away of us pulling this way, way down is the sky. If you clip the sky, you're in trouble. So guess what? Don't clip the sky, right? Make sure this thing is not clipped. Because we're so wide, we can't even do anything with neg. The go-to would be like, oh, we need as much neg as humanly possible in this place to create any shape. But no light is going to help. No neg is going to help. We're just too wide. So what we need to do is frame it nicely so that we can get a little bit of a run up, right? This is the car where she comes running from. She's going to come in here and help our man out there. We've got the sun just out of the frame here. It's backlit. What does backlit get you? Backlit gets you all of this. Okay, this darkness is not there if we're one street over. You see what's happening back there? If this was a big open field, like we looked at in the previous video when we're going through locations, if this was a big open field, this place would look like, I don't know, Christmas Eve, right? There'd be lights everywhere. We couldn't try and keep it down the entire day. And what we want to do is keep it down. So that's the wide shot. We start there. From the wide, we go into, actually, let's do it in the order that we shot. From the wide now, we jump straight into, what's the easiest thing that we can do? We'll just open this back door, jump in the back seat with the camera, and we'll point it at our lady as she comes across the road, right? That is this shot. We don't have to do anything. You see how down it is. You see how there's not a lot of shape. The problem when you're moving this fast is that it's hard to create shape, especially when you're this wide. When you're this wide, do you know how to create shape? Money. Lots and lots of money. If you see like Hollywood slick movies, when they're able to create shape this wide, it's like you have to either nail the time of day or you have to bring in huge amounts of level. Neither of those we could do. So this is like, oh, we jump in, we get this shot, there's nothing we can do. Now, what I didn't mention in the last video is after this shot, so we went here, the wide shot, to this shot. After this shot, we ended up actually doing like a snorri cam rig using an FX3 of this lady getting out of this car and running all the way over to the window. So I don't actually have a still of that setup, but that is a camera change. It's an entire rig that we have to put on. We have to reposition the car so that it's not too far away for the run to actually make sense. So imagine that burning, I don't know, we probably burned 45 minutes on that shot. So now the sun is going to be all over the road, and sun all over the road is not good, right? Because that lifts up the ambient in the wide shots, and we cannot control the ambient in the wide shots. This is bad. This is real, real bad. There's just the second shot of her running over to the wide. From there, actually, let's go to how the order that we shot it in. So we shot this. Oh, this is the full frame chip. So this is the shot that we did directly after those first two shots. This is shot number 3. And why is this shot number 3, or really 4, because we shot the snorri cam shot. Why is this shot number 4 during the day? Because we see the most around the car, right? I mean, in the 239, let's see, cancel. In the 239 version, you don't really see, we're trying not to see the sky, right? Because it's starting to get lit up like a Christmas tree, but you see how much more in the background there is highlights. I mean, look at the car here versus the car there. Okay, now this is where a colorist is your best friend. Still, it's the ambient levels that we're dealing with and the shape that we're able to control. We're trying to race through this as fast as we can. But this is the last shot that we really have to race for. As soon as we get this shot, okay, everybody can calm down. Like we can take things a little bit slower because then we're going to go inside the car. and inside the car is a hell of a lot easier. So we're still facing this direction. All we're doing for shape here is we're using like a 20 by 12 neg that runs down the side here to take away all this, because what happens is the sun is over here, it goes through the trees, bounces on the road, and then lifts the ambient levels, lifts the fill. And when you lift the fill, it starts to flatten things off. And we don't want flat, right? We want shape. So you kill that with a big 20 by 12 neg running down the side. The problem is the sun is still sort of behind our talent here, even though it's dappled and it's coming through the trees and it's a little bit higher than it was before. It's still coming from behind, which means there's no level on this lady's face. So how do you get over that? Well, we've got a 6x6 with two, I think it was two vortexes, might have been two sky panels, something coming through over here, lighting her up, and you can actually see it. That is the eye light there in her eyes. So is it slightly unrealistic? Like, did we probably overcook the level too much for where it was sitting before? Yeah, maybe. But this looks better than flat. I don't want flat. I still want it to be realistic. And then it comes down to, you know, do you get the color temperature right with the ambient that was there before? These are questions for later on. It's more like, can we get any shape in here? And the question is, yes, we can get shape, but I'm going to use everything that I can in the frame to try and block the background. Because the background now, I can't control, right? It's not down like this. It's lit up. And lit up is not good because I want to keep the continuity going because this is all supposed to be happening in real time. Again, if it's a montage ad, we would have got here, I don't know, pre-sun coming above the horizon, right? Where you just have giant softbox in the sky and it's really down. Like we could have pulled that off if this was just one shot. But the fact that we have to keep it going for 10 hours means this is going to be no bueno. Okay, from there, we go into the car, right? Now, let's say this is 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, we're looking at this tree. Whereas if we go back to our location, you'll remember, let's come up here. This is our tree. Now, imagine the camera is pointing in the road, is pointing this way, right at the tree. And it's now 11 o'clock. So the tree is backlit and all of this shrubs here, the sun is low enough in the sky to make this very, very dark to camera. Dark to camera is exactly what we want because behind camera, we have our 20 by 12 neg. And above the car, we have our 12 by 12 neg. So we've got neg everywhere to take out the ambient. So all of this darkness, this would not be possible if we weren't taking away all the level with neg down here. The tree, again, not getting lit up. Also, the frame, that the size of the lens that we're choosing here, I think this is either the 100 or the 135, or the 107, sorry, we shot on tribes. So either a 107 or a 77, probably a 77 looking at it. We want to compress that space as much as possible because if you just look, like even here, you can start to see in the background that light is leaking through a little bit and we don't want any of that leak. So using stuff in the frame to try and muck it up and then pulling the car a little bit forward so that we're not on the side of the tree that's getting lit up, but we're on the shadow part of the tree. That's also good. And then here we're using that same 6x6 with the two LEDs through it to give us this. All of this stuff here. Then in the back of the car is also black wrapped. So we're taking away as much ambient from all around the image as we can. And then with the little bit that is exposed, we're shining our key light through. Okay, but now this is the part where we can just calm down a little bit because we don't have to rush. Now it's all in tight. It's all inside the car. Like I said before, it's all interior. Same here. We cut to our insert shots, which is like in the edit comes actually before any of this stuff happens. This can be really dark, really down. This is the credit card shot. You do it as many times as you possibly can. Okay, now the tricky bit. The tricky bit is that this, I mean, you can already see it in the background. This shot, this is supposed to be her leaning into, where is it? Not that, not that, not that, not that. Where is it? Where's the shadow? Yeah. So this is supposed to be happening at the same time as that wide. So this, okay? But what have we actually done here? What we've done is we have reversed the position of the car. So if we come over here to the behind the scenes. So that was our tree over here. That was our original crash tree. what we've done, if we just move the car, we shuffled it over, so now it's pointing towards all of the backlit trees. And this is now, let's call this after lunch now. So now you can see the sun is like over here now, pointing the exact opposite direction of where it was in the morning. This is not good. If we were still over there trying to get this shot, it would be horrendous. Way, 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 way too difficult to shoot and way too much level in the background to be able to pull it off. So what do? We come down here to our behind the scenes. We've got our 12 by overhead, and this is only this high while we're not actually shooting. As you're shooting, we lower this down to basically as low as you can get over the car. And then we take our 20 by 12 and we wheel that around as close as we can over here. And then we use our bounce here. And then if we need more level, we put in our LEDs, because this shows you the reflection angle of the sun. The sun is over here bouncing into this and then bouncing into the car. And even in the car, this bounce, it just goes everywhere. So it starts to fill in the car too much. So what we do then is just on the car itself, you put the little cutter, the little cutting part of the frame so we don't actually see it. So when we come back here, this is what the end result is. Like, look at how down he is. Look at how down she is. All right, we're getting a little bit of like kick from the hood of the car into her face. And I think we ended up laying some white fabric down here just to lift the ambient a little bit. But this is now backlit, sun into the bounce into her face with car turned the opposite direction. So that is the beauty of shooting in cars, is that you can rotate this stuff. I think that's it. This one, so this is her over here, right? This is this person getting out of the car. Well, we did that at the exact same time we did this shot. All we did is we brought in the other car. We're looking the exact same direction as that behind the scenes still in the opposite direction of where we were shooting in the morning. And now you can see how dark the background is. We just picked out a dark background and we put her in it. And it's lit instead of the bounce to the right-hand side like it is here, right? Just imagine this car is moved out of the way and then our lady is standing right here. And now the new car comes in here. And instead of the bounce being on this side and the neg being over there, we just flop them. So bounce goes on this side, neg goes on this side, and then that gets you this world. Now, is it a little too perfect? Right? Does it look lit up with two giant eye lights? Yes. But it's better than it would have looked. It would have looked horrendous the other way. So that's how you get lady in the background, her, getting out of her car here. Instead of shooting into this, which is all front lit at that time, we just rotate the car, put the car in, have something to shoot through, shoot wide open so we can't see the background or orient ourselves. And we got ourselves a commercial, right? I think that's everything that we wanted to talk about here. So you can see, really, it comes down to, yeah, I mean, the lenses and the camera, they play a part of it, but it's the location, and then it's the schedule, and it's deciding on the look that we can actually achieve throughout the entire day. That's the hard bit. Again, if this is a montage ad, super, super easy. If this is not a montage ad, oh, we got problems. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this one. Many thanks for checking it out. And if you like this format, let me know. If you've got questions about the shoot or any other challenges that we would come up against, please let me know in the comments below. Many thanks, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.